Welcome to Monster Wars. We're all here, ready to do battle. Except for First Blood. He died during qualifying, so he's been grounded. Welcome to the neighborhood, Bloody.
Luann Lee, and welcome to Monster Wars, featuring the big bad boys of the U.S. Hot Rod Association. Now, here's a few monster truck facts to get us started. By the way, there's going to be a quiz at the end of today's show, so you better pay attention. The trucks must weigh a minimum of 10,000 pounds. They have giant 6-foot tires, and they're able to leap almost 40 yards and go up to 25 feet high. Got it? Good. Now let's step it up.
Luann, here's the situation. Currently, Gravedigger is leading the Monster War standings by 21 points over second place Barefoot. However, just a few short weeks ago, that lead was 55 points between first and second place. But last week in Minneapolis, Gravedigger couldn't compete, and Fred Schaefer and the Barefoot took full advantage of that opportunity and closed in on the lead. Fred, a win here could vault you into first place. What's going through your mind?
The win is what's going through my mind, Jim, and putting Gravedigger on the trailer. And he knows I'm the defending champion 2 years in a row, and he's going to be real nervous when he comes up to get me, and I'm going to put him out, and he's going to screw up.
You got things pumped up for us here, and Dennis, those sound a little bit like fighting words to me.
Hey, that's right. He might think that I'm going to choke, but I got news for the old man, Fred Schaefer. Hey, when the dust settles at the other end, I'm going to bury that big red Dodge. And if he thinks I'm going to choke, he's going to choke on my dust tonight, because it's going to be all over with at the finish line.
These two guys are getting fired up, and so are we. So, Joe Lowe, let's get right to the action.
Jim, this crowd is ready for the Monster Wars, and wars they are. The truck that's currently leading the World Points race, Gravedigger. He has a 21-point lead ahead of Barefoot going into today's race. Can he hold on to it? We'll find out. He's going against Taurus.
Yeah! This crowd is a hooting and a hollering for some monster action. What do you say we give them a show, Bones? A show? Listen here, Frontier boy. You'd better use all your survival skills if you want to compete with the Digger. Run, fight, or be destroyed. I ain't going nowhere. Kick it.
One of the longest race courses these guys run all year long here at Lebanon Valley with 3 big jumps. Jack Willman's truck, driven by Eldon DePew, his nephew, it's called Taurus. It qualified 5th. The Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson, qualified fastest today, 7 seconds flat on this very long course. And now from inside Gravedigger, you can see the long, long course here at Lebanon Valley. They wait for the green light, thumbs up, and it's showtime. Over the first hump, Digger starts opening up a lead right now in no man's land. It's all Gravedigger. Barefoot has his work cut out for him here if he's going to try to take the points away from Gravedigger.
Crawl back into your desert of truth, Frontier boy, and lick your wounds before we meet again. Why, that's good advice, stranger. Why don't I crawl back to the old corral like a snake, shed my skin, watch a couple of episodes of Bonanza, then come back fresh, rested, and ready to lay you to rest in a pine box?
2 very evenly matched trucks, but Gravedigger seemed to be able to figure out this course very quickly. And when he lands now, he really opens up the lead in no man's land. And from there on out, it is all Gravedigger, showing why he's #1 in points. Let's send it back to Luann in the studio.
Each week, we show you these mega monsters fly fast and furious as they burn through the track. It may look a little bit reckless, but each of these monster trucks are in control and following some very specific racing rules. In fact, the official U.S. Hot Rod Association rule book is over 20 pages long and contains more than 100 rules. Well, we thought we'd get you acquainted with a number of these disciplines throughout today's show. And to ensure we cover as much ground as possible, we brought in a motor mouth for the occasion. Here's fast talker John Machito.
All monster truck drivers must be 18 years of age. If you're under 18, you must have parental or guardian and the United States Hot Rod Association's USHRA technical director's written consent. We recommend you stay in school, stop rushing through your childhood, and begin collecting your neighborhood's old cars. You're going to need a lot of practice crushing and flying over cars if you want to be competitive on the monster trunk circuit. Only the driver is allowed in the monster truck. No spouses, significant others, neighbors, children's pets, or crazy uncles will be allowed in the monster truck during competition. Just the driver. No joyrides or hauling of furniture, just racing.
Welcome back to Lebanon Valley Raceway. The monsters are here and ready to roar. And we're talking the matchup between UFO with Bob Fisher aboard and Carolina Crusher. Crusher, 10,000 pounds, 1,400 horses, all Chevrolet. UFO, Bob Fisher, the big yellow Ford out of Pensacola, New Jersey, 10,500 pounds. This competition, the old-timer Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher.
Welcome to our galaxy, UFO. Allow me, Crusher, to introduce you to your first experience of cosmic oneness with the agony of defeat. Yeah!
We're staged for round number 1, race number 2. Gary Porter says, let's get right to it. It's showtime. The start from inside, Carolina Crusher against UFO. Carolina Crusher, it's all Crusher. UFO didn't have a prayer. Highly underpowered against the big boy, Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter takes the win. Right from the very start, UFO really and truly didn't have a prayer. If Carolina Crusher had some problems, then he could have made some headway, but he's not supercharged. And when you're not supercharged running with the Super Boys, you just can't make it on a track like this. Gary Porter gets the win. The crash cam destroyed as UFO lands on it, and Gary Porter brings Crusher back into the pits. Here come our next two monsters. Monster Patrol, the rookie on the season, goes against Tropical Thunder. You know, it's not going to be too much longer that we can call Paul Schaefer a rookie in Monster Patrol. He's doing a great job. Qualified 8th today. Wayne Smolzanek, Tropical Thunder, had a lot of problems. He qualified a disappointing 10th. And now the two big monsters pull up to the starting line. Paul Schaefer, former world champion mud racer turned monster truck driver, up against Tropical Thunder. On the start, a bad hop for Monster Patrol. Tropical Thunder takes advantage of it. But look at this comeback! Look at this comeback! Monster Patrol! Monster Patrol wins it! An incredible comeback for Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol! Monster Patrol just nosedives over the cars and then has the common sense to try to recover. Pumps that big engine full of life and flies to a win. What a job! Tropical Thunder on the start, not bad. He did not nosedive, but then something happened. Maybe he thought Monster Patrol was out of the action. Whatever it was, he lost that race. As Predator and Invader come up to the line, let's check some more of those monster rules.
No one is allowed in the competition area during an event except track officials and one crew member. That's one crew member. No families, coaches, groupies, bodyguards, personal trainers, nutritionists, sports psychiatrists, doctors, or spiritual advisors allowed in the competition area during a vehicle's performance. Failure to do so will be grounds for disqualification. That's good luck. Removed, banished, dismissed from the premises. One way, no return ticket, no refunds, left in exile for the remainder of the event.
A prowl in the moonlight. Are you sure you're ready, Invader? You look a little jumpy. If it is a battle you seek, Predator, then look no further, for I accept your challenge. Day or night, I will punish you. You are courting death, my feline foe.
Welcome back to Lebanon Valley Raceway. The monsters are here and ready to roar. Ray Perkowski drives the Invader. He took it to second in qualifying today. A great run for the big Ford. He's up against Alan Pizzo in Predator. He qualified 4th on this very long, tough race course. And now Invader comes up to the starting line. The officials bring him up to stage. The big truck from St. Louis, Missouri, and a thumbs up from Ray Perkowski. He says, I'm ready to green light. And it's showtime. Predator with the lead. Now they're in no man's land. Invader battles to make it back. No, he can't do it. It's all Predator. And Predator wins it on the inside track. On the replay, you can see Predator was pretty much in command of this race from the start. A great hole shot over the cars. He looks good. The landing's just perfect. Not much bounce. You can see Invader bouncing all over the course. He has to back out of it. Predator's running very strong. The crowd's ready for more monsters. Why don't we bring them up to stage as Monster Wars continues here at Lebanon Valley. And what a crowd we have. These guys are ready because a former world champion is coming up to the starting line in the form of David Morris and the Equalizer. His competition, the reigning world champion, Fred Schaefer and Barefoot. These two trucks have met 3 times before on this track. Equalizer has the edge, 2 wins to 1. But can he do it again here? Fred Schaefer and Barefoot qualified a very disappointing 9th today. The Equalizer, David Morris aboard, qualified 6th. Who's going to win it? It's anybody's guess as they line up, Equalizer and Barefoot. One thing's for certain, considering the point situation, Barefoot does not want to lose to Equalizer.
Well, welcome to the jungle, Barefoot. But beware of the dangers and pitfalls of your own abyss. Prepare for the upheaval of your very existence and the undoing of your world as you now know it. Yeah!
We're staged and it is race time. It's been 17 weeks since Equalizer has defeated Barefoot. Can he do it again? Let's find out. A bad hop for both of them. Barefoot's out of it. Barefoot is out of it. It is all Equalizer. He upsets the world champion. David Morris and the Equalizer. Barefoot, what happened to him? On the start, it was too heavy. He did not feather that accelerator, and a bad hop. He's all out of shape as he comes over the second set of cars. Equalizer is across the finish line before Barefoot can even touch that last set of cars. Jim Davidson's back in the pitch with our winner, David Morris of the Equalizer.
David, come here for a second. I know it's early, my friend, but you just put Fred Schaefer away in the first round. It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels great. That was a real tough race there. You know, I really hadn't got the hang of this track yet, but, you know, each round I'm trying, and it's going to get better.
Well, here it is. It's a long track. This one really has to push it. You think that Fred Schaefer with that extra horsepower would get out there and blow you away, but you had him the whole way.
You know, the horsepower is really not a real big factor. Here it is, but, you know, with the dirt hill and the cars and 3 jumps like that together, you know, it takes some driving skill, too.
Well, like I said, a good start. Keep it going.
Thanks.
We're getting set for round number 2, but first, let's check some more of those monster rules.
Monster truck contests will be governed by the USHRA. The director's decisions are definitive, irrevocable, and final. Any arguing, fighting, whimpering, pouting, or disagreements during the event will result in disqualification and a humiliating police escort to the exit. Don't argue, plead, bicker, scorn, or ignore USHRA officials. Protest. Protest must be made within 15 minutes after the event and only to the USHRA director. Don't call your mother or the press or that crazy uncle. Put your money where your mouth is. That's $100 cash for illegal fuel and illegal weight and $250 for a cubic inch check. If the monster in question is legal, the cash will be forfeited to the monster truck. If the monster truck is illegal, the cash will be refunded to the righteous protester, and the illegal monster truck will be obligated to buy the protester and his crew dinner at their favorite all-you-can-eat restaurant.
Welcome back to Monster Wars. Round 2 action is straight ahead. But first, we've shown you a variety of events the U.S. Hot Rod Association puts on, along with the excitement of the monster trucks. Thrill acts, mud bogging, and truck and tractor pulling are just to name a few. Millions of fans flock to stadiums around the country to be part of the fun. But the true essence of these events is in the family feeling they generate. And to really drive that point home, in the immortal words of some long-forgotten puller, families who pull together, stay together. A prophetic saying by which truck puller Donna Webb and her husband Freddie live by. For 10 years, they've been pulling their truck Sudden Impact with the meanest and the toughest, and have excelled as 2-time champions. Donna is a lucky lady because she shares a real unique and supportive relationship with both her husband and her mother. Let's take a look.
You don't get kidded and teased by the men and near as much as when I first started pulling about 10 years ago.
I think the truck pulling is fantastic.
They accept women as competitors and know that women are as good as they are.
My husband and I got into this by being in a 4-wheel drive club.
We started out just playing in the mud. We'd go out every weekend playing in the mud, and first thing you know, there's a guy built a little small sled that we could pull with our stock vehicles, and first thing just led to another, and she
Got totally out of hand, and we went for full competition with the vehicle, and we've been doing it ever since.
I'm crew chief on the truck. I build the motors, keep them up, keep them dynoed and stuff. I do all the highway driving, getting the truck to where the pulls are.
I'll fly in, and he'll pick me up at the airport, and we'll go to the truck pull, and I'll drive, and then he'll take me back to the airport, and I'll fly back home so I can be back at work on Monday.
MJ Lee, may I help you? I work for my family. My mother and my 2 uncles own a bridge construction company. I do payroll, just whatever it takes to keep a business running. I try to do it. If I didn't work for my family, I couldn't be able to do this truck pulling and stuff, because if I'm not at work, my mother covers for me.
I try to support Donna in every way I can on her truck pulling.
When you run the United States hot rod circuit, you can be gone like for 6 or 7 weekends in a row. Sometimes it's real difficult to juggle working full-time in the truck pulling, but all in all, it all balances out. I wouldn't trade one for the other. I love both of them. I couldn't give up my job, and right now I couldn't give up truck pulling anyway. I enjoy it too much.
I love to go see Donna at the truck pulls. It's great to see her win, but it makes me thrilled just to see her pulling.
I've had 2 really big highlights in my career. In 1989, I won the Houston Astrodome, and then last year I won Bowling Green, Ohio. Freddie and I stay in truck and tractor pulling because it's something we really enjoy doing together.
Donna and I are just probably the best of friends. Actually, as far as going anywhere with anybody else or doing anything with anybody else, I'd rather do it with her.
Just very proud of her, and wish maybe I'd have done something when I was younger too like that.
Donna also shared with us her secret to making a good marriage work, and that's to get involved and stay involved in whatever sport your husband is into. Well, she certainly followed her own advice, and boy, is it paying off. Donna and Freddie have been happily married for over 20 years. Time for round 2 action. Let's take a look at who'll battle it out at that lengthy 150-foot track in West Lebanon. Don't forget, winning is all that counts in round 2, so it's truly a war out there. Taurus hopes to prove he's more than just Equalizer's equal. Predator has set his sights on devouring Monster Patrol. UFO wants to be the flying object ahead of the Gravedigger at the finish line, and Barefoot's on a collision course with Carolina Crusher. If Barefoot and Digger advance, we may be witnessing a showdown in the finals between our 2 top trucks in the point standings. Let's get geared up for some racing. Jim Davidson is down in the pits with a report.
Ooh, it's eerie out here tonight, folks, and let me tell you why. This is the longest ever straight racing monster truck course that these guys have ever been on. There's anticipation back here, guys. I've been around for a long time, and I've never seen the drivers as pumped up as they are right now. 142 feet of approach coming into that second set of cars, 60 miles an hour. We're talking major air.
We're talking second round action where all that counts is winning, and we're talking the matchup between Barefoot and Carolina Crusher. 8 times these trucks have met this year. Crusher's won 4. And Barefoot has won 4. Crusher, 10,000 pounds, 1,400 horses, all Chevrolet. The big Dodge Barefoot, 10,050 pounds, 1,500 horses. The Keith Black Hemi Dodge develops a lot of horsepower and torque early on. And now they're staged green light. Carolina Crusher, Smokes has some problems. Barefoot and Carolina Crusher. Barefoot builds the lead. Barefoot wins it. Barefoot had some problems early on also, but then the incredible horsepower generated in no man's land gave him the win. And Carolina Crusher is out of the competition. Gary Porter can become a spectator. That's a tough break for Crusher.
Okay, so I lost. Big deal. I still got my day job. Not only am I the president of the Crusher Hair Replacement Club, I'm a client as well. Call me 1-800-BIG-HAIR.
Crusher showed some smoke at the start, but that wasn't nearly as bad as the landing over the second set of cars. He never could generate the horsepower needed to defeat Barefoot. The margin of victory, about a half a truck length. And Jim Davidson's with our winner, Fred Schaefer of Barefoot.
Fred, congratulations. You made good use of coming back as a fast loser against the Carolina Crusher, but you had a lot of coming back to do against him.
Yeah, it was a real close race down there, Jim, and I think I might have been a little slow on the start there, but I tried to get that big Dodge on the ground there and use that horsepower between the cars, and it was a pretty close race.
Well, you powered out, pulled off the victory. Now I want to look down the horizon a little bit. We could be looking at an eventual matchup in the finals of you and Gravedigger.
Well, you know, Gravedigger, he's a tough character. I'm just going to take them as they come, Jim. I'll just take them one at a time.
Well, next is the semis. Good luck.
Thank you.
Who else will be in the semifinals? It may be UFO with Bob Fisher aboard, but he's got to get past Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. In 6 tries this season, UFO has not been able to take out Gravedigger.
Look what I got! Oh, positive. Your favorite.
Qualifying position for monsters will be determined by drawing a number per position. Just one drawing, one shot. No best 2 out of 3 or nothing like that. Don't ask, we've heard it all before. Contestants must run a position drawn within 5 minutes on call. Plan your bathroom breaks carefully. Any delay may mean disqualification. All points awarded are the property of the monster truck and cannot be transferred to frequent flyer programs, home shopping catalogs, or SAT score. Points will be withheld from any contestant who fails to display the USHRA and designated series decals on his or her monster truck in the prescribed manner that is set at the beginning of the year of the series. Our bumper stickers are attractive additions to any monster truck. Wear our colors with pride.
I'm not even going to ask him to repeat that. I want to go racing. Here we go. UFO, Bob Fisher, the big yellow Ford out of Pensacola, New Jersey. 10,500 pounds. A deficit here, only 900 horses. Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson, 10,000 pounds, over 1,400 horses. So it's a Chevy Ford matchup. Inside Gravedigger, Anderson gives us a thumbs up. Green light, showtime. Going for a ride in Digger. Up and over! We just won a race inside the Gravedigger! And we never, ever saw UFO from inside the cab. That's because he never got close to Digger. Your winner, the Gravedigger.
Make way for UFO, First Blood.
Earlier we talked about the horsepower deficit in UFO, and it's not evident until the second set of cars when Gravedigger really powers up and turns on the supercharger. On a shorter track it doesn't make much difference, but here it really, really does, as the yellow Ford just can't generate what he needs down this very long track. Jim Davidson's in the Gravedigger pit with Dennis Anderson. Let's get his thoughts on this easy win for Digger.
Dennis, come here. You are just dishing out some punishment here tonight. UFO, the latest victim.
Yeah, well, hey, he's not supercharged. His motor doesn't have as much kick as mine does, but, hey, I still got a little bit left underneath the hood. I'm going to use it on my next victim.
Let me look ahead a little bit. The finals down the road. It could be you and Barefoot, Fred Schaefer, the old man.
Hey, that's what I'd love, man, because I want to get matched up with that big Dodge. The sooner the better. I can knock him down in the points, because I don't want to be chasing him all season on the points trying to catch up. Hey, the sooner the better I can get a hold of him and pin him down, I'll be happy.
Look who's back after that spectacular come-from-behind victory in round number 1. It's Monster Patrol. But this time, he has tough competition as he goes against Predator.
Monster Patrol! Did you happen to catch my surprise attack on Invader? Huh? It's not too late to retreat if you're a little rattled up. Furball.
As the trucks come up, let's point out a couple of differences. First of all, Monster Patrol has the wing on the back, the only truck on the circuit that runs one of those wings. And Predator, he has 1,800 horses. That's the most horsepower of any truck on the circuit. Monster Patrol weighs in at exactly 10,000 pounds. That truck was designed and built by Jack Willman, who owns Taurus. Paul Schaefer puts the neck brace on. And now we are ready for Monster Patrol and Predator. Pizzo gives the thumbs up. It's showtime for both trucks. A puff of smoke from Predator. Monster Patrol has a slow start. Predator horsepower's out. Monster Patrol bounces. Predator, not a pretty win, but he wins it anyway. Predator's problem was that he was out of shape as he approached the last set of cars. But Monster Patrol, he should have feathered that engine when he went over the second set. Instead, he gunned it and came out of shape and bounced all over the track. That wing on Monster Patrol was designed to keep the rear end down. It's doing just that. The problem with that truck right now is experience needed by the driver. When Monster Wars continues, it will be Equalizer going up against Jack Willman's Taurus.
Partners, it's time to turn up the heat and separate the men from the boys. Hide your women and children, lock your windows, bolt your doors, and huddle up real snug to your TV sets, because we're headed for the home stretch.
Property during a race will forfeit points for that round and be ridiculed by all the other drivers. All monster trucks must hit each set of cars with both front tires. That's 2 front tires hitting each set of cars. A minimum of 2 tires must remain on or over the cars at all times. Not 1, 2. All monster trucks must weigh a minimum of 10,000 pounds. Official weight includes truck, fuel, water, oil, and driver. If monster truck is found to be underweight after competing, the vehicle will be suspended for 1 year and the driver will be given a year's supply of Twinkies. Don't jump the gun. Any movement of the monster truck before the green light after being staged will result in disqualification. It's simple. Red means sit still and green means full throttle, just like back home on Main Street.
We're not on Main Street, but the rules are the same. The red light is out, and that means Taurus and Equalizer have to wait. Taurus is driven today by Eldon Depew. He shares driving duties in this truck with Jack Willman Jr. Equalizer David Morris aboard. These trucks have met 5 times this year. Taurus was only able to defeat Equalizer once, and that was right here on show number 1 17 weeks ago. Equalizer is 200 pounds heavier than Taurus. He has about 100 more horses to push him around the track, so that may make a bit of a difference. The big difference is Equalizer was built in 1988. Taurus is a 1993 design truck. But as we've seen time and time again here on Monster Wars, there's still a lot of fight left in the older Equalizer.
Yeah! Time for me to take control, Taurus. You still bore us. You will find your savage skills inadequate, though, against my superior strength and wisdom.
Dang, Equalizer, that sounds like a case of mistaken identity. Somebody forgot to inform you that you're the underdog and I'm the top dog in this here territory. Why, I've got the sun at my back, my finger on the trigger, and your inferior strength and wisdom in my sight, partner. Woo-hoo!
We're ready. Power up and showtime. A puff of smoke for Taurus with a hole shot. Equalizer battles a tough break for him as he lands badly. Taurus gets the win. Taurus has taken out Equalizer. Incredible! For the second time this season, and both times on this track, Taurus defeats Equalizer. And David Morris's problem was over the second set of cars. A bad landing. He bounces around, has to back out of it to get control, and Taurus takes the win. With each race, these tracks get really different, folks. The ruts get deeper, the ramps start going away from these guys, and it's very tough to figure out what's happening. That's exactly the problem with Equalizer in that inside lane. He was not able to figure out the ramp on that second set of cars. That cost him the win. More monster excitement's coming up. Right now, let's go to Luann.
Let's get revved up, everybody. Both Gravedigger and Barefoot made it into the semifinals. As you know, they are first and second, respectively, thus far this season in the point standings. You can just imagine the importance of the next few races. But both trucks have some heavy competition to get through before a possible showdown. First, Fred Schaefer's Barefoot needs to defeat Alan Pizzo and the Predator. Gravedigger has the equally difficult task of smoking Taurus off the course. Will we see a battle royale between our top guns in the final? The semifinals are next. Keep it right here for the exciting answer.
Equipped with a Howland fire extinguisher, in-cab kill switch, a second kill switch in the rear center of the vehicle, remote control kill bracket, remote ignition interrupter, backup alarm, killer indicator light visible from 500 feet, a starter interrupter switch, approved 3-inch lap belt shoulder harness, foot-operated hydraulic brakes able to stop the monster truck within the monster truck's length at 10 miles per hour, and dual braking systems with separate lines running from the front and rear brakes from a dual master cylinder. No fuel tanks, fuel lines, batteries, radiators, water hoses, microwaves, video games, coolers, or vending machines allowed in the driver's compartment. All fuel-injected engines must have a fuel shut-off valve within easy reach of the driver. All monster trucks with doors that are not functional must have a sunroof or the hatch so the driver can wave to the fans, catch some rays, or easily get out in case of fire or roll.
Did you folks get all that? We have reached the semifinals here, folks. This matchup between Barefoot and Predator, a very, very important race for Barefoot. He must win this one, otherwise he may not be able to keep up to Gravedigger in points competition, but he's got to get past Predator. Predator's average time on this track, 7.45 seconds. Barefoot, 7.84. So Fred Schaefer, the world champion, has his work cut out for him here at Lebanon Valley. The longest track, the toughest track these monsters run in straight line racing all year long. From inside Predator, Alan Pizzo is ready. He waits. It's showtime. The green light. Both trucks with a great hole shot. Predator with a slight edge. And now Barefoot turns it on. 1 horsepower that truck generates. The world champion Barefoot defeats Predator. He is in the finals here at Lebanon Valley. Both Barefoot and Predator had a great hole shot. They were looking good. And then over the second set of cars, Barefoot finds that extra horsepower he needs. The big Dodge Hemi doesn't. Predator goes back to the pits. He is out of the competition. No more points for him today. And here comes the Gravedigger. The crowd's on their feet as Digger comes out to defend his world championship points competition. He is going against Taurus. Now remember, Barefoot just won. He's in the competition. If Digger can take out Taurus, it will be Barefoot and Digger, the number 1 and 2 trucks in the nation, going at it in our finals. But right now, it is Digger and Taurus at the line. Let's take a look at how these 2 trucks match up as we prepare for the semi-final here at Lebanon Valley. Taurus, Eldon Depew, driving an average time of 7.41. But Dennis Anderson has taken the Gravedigger to an average time of an incredible 7.26 seconds. Let's see what's going to happen as the 2 big monsters get ready to rock and roar. Dennis Anderson looks very, very cool, calm, and collected, sitting up in the cockpit of Gravedigger. The view from inside Digger as we wait for the green light. Thumbs up for Anderson, he's ready. Taurus signifies he's ready, and now it's showtime. A puff of smoke from both trucks. Taurus with a slight hole shot, but here comes Digger! Oh my gosh, Taurus has problems and Digger takes it! Digger battles Barefoot in the finals. Digger looks strong throughout the race, but the thing to watch is the smoke. From the very start, Digger's engine is smoking. This could signify an engine problem, and he's running against Barefoot in the finals. As Digger heads back to the pits, I bet that's the first thing they're going to check back there is that smoke. And Taurus, well, he's going to have to wait till next week to go against the big boys and try for a win.
Dag nabbit, I'm speechless. 2 losses to Bones. Count them, 2. Why, I'm embarrassed. I'm flustered. I'm empty, really. I've suffered a terrible misfortune. Shoot!
The Barefoot Digger finals are coming up, but first, it's time to check out some more of those USHRA Monster Truck Racing rules.
All monster trucks must be painted and lettered with the vehicle name spelled correctly and in good penmanship. Minimum tire size is 36 inches wide and 66 inches high. That's 3 feet wide and 5 foot 5 inches high, minimum. All newly constructed monster trucks are required to have at least an 8-point roll cage. Plus, ground wells are not permitted, and all roll cages are to be securely attached to the truck chassis and not just to the cab floor. All transmissions must have approved safety blankets or approved shield plate. Monster trucks must have operable forward and reverse gears. All motors must have a deflection shield on both sides of the engine block. All exhaust must discharge vertically and underneath or straight back with a 45-degree angle down at the opening of the pipe. All throttle linkages to be cable operated.
To a spectacular competition. Gravedigger is in first place, but barely. Barefoot is so close to the top spot, he can smell it. The 2 top guns are set to face off in the Monster Finals, quite possibly our most important race thus far this year. For the exciting call to today's big finish, let's send it out to our main man at the track, Joe Lowe.
Thank you, Luann. The number 1 and 2 trucks in the nation. Gravedigger currently leading in points, and Barefoot, the reigning world champion, trying to make it 3 in a row, a feat that's never, ever been done before. Gravedigger defeated Taurus in round number 1, UFO in number 2. Taurus came back as a fast loser and lost to Gravedigger in round 3. Barefoot took out Equalizer, Crusher, and Predator. And now, Fred Schaefer, the oldest man in Super Series competition, brings the world champion Barefoot up to the line to go against the wild man of monster truck racing, the Gravedigger.
Welcome to the finals, Barefoot. What do you say, First Blood? Shall I give him a head start? Shut this bonehead down, Barefoot! Silence, varmint!
Our two trucks are staged from inside Gravedigger. We wait for the light. This final is about to begin. Dennis Anderson anxiously waiting, both hands on the steering wheel, thumbs up. It's showtime for Digger and Barefoot in our final. A great start. Both trucks looking strong. Digger with the lead. Barefoot comes from behind. A very close one. A very close front. Barefoot wins. Barefoot defeated the Gravedigger. A very close race. The margin of victory, just inches separate the trucks at the finish line pole. And Gravedigger heads to the pits.
I love it! Look who got buried! Way to go, Barefoot! Uh-oh. Looks like Mr. Johnson's about to mow the lawn. Gravedigger! You bag of bones! Go back here! Gravedigger!
On the start, Gravedigger had it won, and then Fred Schaefer turns on the awesome Dodge Power and overtakes the mighty Digger.
Fred, let me be the first to say congratulations in putting Gravedigger away in the finals.
Thanks, Jim. You know, I got a little crooked there in the second set of cars. When you run somebody like Gravedigger, you can't let off. You got to stay in it. It was a little bumpy ride, but I stayed in it. I won.
Well, now you've really narrowed the points margin here in the series.
Yeah, I have, Jim, and that's what I'm out here trying to do. I'm looking to take that lead over on the points and go all the way to the end.
Be a repeat championship for you once again here in the Monster Truck Series.
That's what we're going for, Jim. Thank you.
Fred Schaefer continues to put a wrench to the Gravediggers' plans for an easy cruise into the Monster Wars Points Championship. Dennis Anderson has his work cut out for him if he plans to stay on top. A mere 21 points separate the two top trucks. And don't count out any of the rest of our mean machines. 50 points can be gained on any given weekend, and with it, the opportunity to shoot up in the overall standings. The battle continues next week when we head to Louisville. Believe me, the horsepower we'll have on display blows the Kentucky Derby away. For Joe Lowe and Jim Davidson, I'm Luann Lee. See you next time on Monster